Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of New Gameplay Today. I am your host, Alex Stadnick, and I got quite the crew with me today. Joining me, K-Star in the building herself, Kim Wallace. Hello, Kim.
Hey, what's up? What are we
Oh,
playing here? What is this?
We're playing Life is Strange True Colors, and I know I have another big fan of Life is Strange in Alex Van Aken here as well, correct?
Hello. I've actually never played a Life is Strange game. I'm just
What?
really excited for this one because the protagonist's name is Alex and it takes place in Colorado, which is why I just moved here from. I've got a lot riding on this
Oh.
game. I hope it's good. It's not only representing my name, it's representing, a place that is near and dear to my heart, the state of Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. And Colorado is beautiful, but it looks beautiful in this game, and Alex is a pretty cool protagonist so far. I love her dry wit and sarcasm, and it's really fun to play with her dialogue options as you go through the game.
That's awesome. And like right off the bat, I love the like scribbled pencil shader that is outlining, what you have highlighted. Like just all right off the bat, like nailing the style.
Oh
Really.
yeah, and especially when we get into like some of the powers and stuff she has too. The style in this game is one of my favorite parts of this. And Kim, I'm with you, my fellow Alex here in the game. She's very naturally funny. The writing I feel like has been spot on in the first chapter in kind of that back and forth. Right, I feel like humor in games is really hard to do, but it just her and Gabe and a lot of the people in this town, it feels natural, and that's a really good start because I feel like especially in a game like this, narrative focused, like you need that, and so far they've done a really good job with it in my opinion. So
yeah, it does not feel forced ever, and it comes across, as you said, really naturally. But yes, we should start off a little bit with Alex is coming to this new town, New Haven, right? I think.
Yeah. Or Haven. Yeah.
Haven, sorry. And
No, you're good.
Her to live with her brother, but she's been in and out of group homes for the last like 8 years or so, I think. And so they haven't seen each other in a while. And Alex is at an interest. What I like about this is she's at an interesting time in her life. I think she's like 2021, which is the oldest had a Life is Strange protagonist. Usually they're high schoolish age, but she is trying to figure out like what's next with her life and really kind of searching for a place that feels like home. And that I compare it to that weird time when you just graduate college and you're like, oh my god, now I have to figure out where the heck my life is going and what I want to do. So she's definitely in that stage, and it's a reunion with her brother. She hasn't seen him for a long time, but they have a good relationship. They have some really cool, cute scenes going on. But there's also a little bit of that awkwardness of like, I haven't seen you for a while. But let's just try to pick up where we left off, right?
For sure. Yeah, I'm loving their interactions together have been my favorite part of this, and the town, whilst it feels very. This kind of feels like a millennial dream, being in this beautiful, beautiful mountain town, kind of quiet, like unassuming, but I know I can't, me in the real world, I can't live in this town, right? With the mountains and stuff like that, it'd be way too expensive.
Well, you also know that you're in a town where like everybody knows everyone else's business. And you get that feeling of like, there's that, small town closeness, which is very protective of everyone and everybody knows each other. I like they have this little app on her phone, which is like, oh, what's the neighborhood app that everybody always talks about?
Nextdoor.
Yes, it's like Nextdoor, exactly like Nextdoor, but this town, think of them of like having their own Facebook page, and just like listing like, hey, I need someone to help me with this, or this is going on now. And this dude right here, this is Ryan. He's one of her love interests, if you choose. So you do not have to. There's 2 love interests, Ryan and Steph. And you don't have to pick a love interest, but if you want one, they're there.
Yeah.
They're there to explore. But here we're looking for he needs help finding, she's trying to get a gift for her brother, you know, want to make a good impression and figure out what he was interested in music wise. And the cat is, of course, on top of the document she does.
As cats tend to do. So backing this up a little bit, if
Yeah.
you've never played a Life is Strange game, you know, in True Colors, you're presented with choices. You know, usually it's between 2 and 4 choices, kind of like, you know, it maps it to the face buttons. And some of them have big consequences in the story. Some have little ones that we've ran into so far. There's a couple ones where they make it clear which ones are like the big choices, right?
It's usually like you have one on the left, one on the right.
Correct.
Yes,
kind
it
of like
stops in time to let you know, like, hey, you got these 2 big choices here. What you gonna pick? And then you sit there agonizing over it for a little bit and hoping that you made the right one. Oh, there's the kitty toy.
It stresses me out, man. Not gonna lie. Just like there was a couple of moments where I looked at the screen for like 5 minutes, and that doesn't sound like a long time, but in the moment I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm choosing life or death here, even though it's like, you know, tell this person to do this versus that. And so in that way, I like the choice system in this. And then, you know, I've never played the Life is Strange games either, so I don't know if this was in the other games. Kim, you can tell me. But at the end of the chapter, it tells you what the world did in those moments too, which I really liked, and also made me feel bad about some of my choices.
It's always weird. It's always weird to me when I pick something and it's like, oh, nobody really picked that. Am I just this big like big outlier? Why did I pick that? I find I've been playing this one very honest as Alex. It just feels right. I feel like I really get into role playing the characters, and something about her to me feels like she would have her guard up, but also just not be like, I'm not gonna lie to these people about who I am and what I've been through. But you can choose to go the other way. And I like having those options of where to go with the character. And like I said, she's a fun character to play because she's got some good zingers and she's very sarcastic, and I love it.
Definitely.
Awesome.
And you talked about role playing, Kim, and I echo what Alex said earlier. You know, it does help that she's named Alex. This is such a personal thing, but it is like I'm really trying to play her like I would myself, and I feel a little bit more connected in that way. I don't know. It's just who I am, I suppose. But
one thing I wanted to bring up actually, when I talked to the team who made this game, it's Deck 9 this time around, so Don't Nod has passed the series on. Deck 9 did Before the Storm, which was fantastic. And what they really want is your choices kind of shaping how the community reacts around you and your kind of attachment to the town, I should say. And you're kind of going to be pulled in different directions where you're going to decide, like, do you like this small town life, or are you more like, this is Steph, your other love interest. She was in Before the Storm. She loves her some D&D, which makes her cool in my book.
I'm
Steph.
But she's more like, you know, Ryan, who we saw, he's grown up his whole life in the town. And then you have her who has always been on the move and kind of likes that freedom of not being too attached to one place for too long. But I mean, it's ultimately, like I said, your decision on what you decide and how it goes.
For sure. And that's an interesting call out because, like Alex and I have said in here, we haven't played Life is Strange here. I don't feel like I'm being penalized for that.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know Steph was from a previous game.
Oh yeah, you could start this not having played the other games. What I will say people will notice is there's definitely a graphical upgrade here. It looks better than the games have ever looked. This was the first time they did full body capture for it.
Nice.
So the expressions on the face in the older games were very sometimes wooden and awkward, and they look much more natural. I think Alex, I noticed it on before. She has these very subtle movements in her face, or like the way that she'll sometimes like roll her eyes or something that
It's-
just really sells like what she's saying, and it feels very genuine.
I think it's a great call out because I was noticing the eye work in this game too, which sounds weird, but like, you know, in real life, our eyes are usually darting around trying to comprehend what people are saying and what's going on around us. And you know, well, it's not perfect, right? It's a video game. They've done a really good job with that, and it feels a little bit more immersive. So
Yeah, it's next week.
Totally. Even like, yeah, I'm picking up on all of this. I think, Kim, I haven't even. I mean, I've, you know, I know Life is Strange. I've seen footage of it. Like I can, but like my first takeaway was, wow, this looks gorgeous. Like, like you said, the animations are really fluid and detailed, but also just I think like the lighting looks really good, and the character models, the environmental details, like everything has this like sheen, this polish that I think is really going to do the series well going forward, and especially like bringing in new players. I think like this seems like it's the perfect time for people like me who have always been interested in Life is Strange. Unfortunately, I really wanted to play the first game and had it spoiled for me, and so I just passed on it.
Oh,
Because these
bummer.
games are all about story, and I was like, I'm not gonna, you know, waste my time. Even though I'm sure it still would have been great to see play out, but so as somebody who's always wanted to get into these series, it really does feel like now's the perfect time to jump in to True Colors. So I'm excited.
Yeah, stories, emotions. I mean, Life is Strange has never dialed back on confronting difficult issues, and from playing what I have so far in this first episode, I really like how they handle a lot of, you know, Alex's relationship with foster care. I mean, like what she had to endure with that, being away from her brother. I think the game, you know, deals with grief and loss, and kind of like also this thing of finding yourself, which I think is very relatable, and I think people are going to latch onto. And this first episode, I will say, it moves slowly because it's introducing you to a lot of things, so you won't have like all these like, you know, her power is different than other past characters in Life is Strange, right? It was more supernatural abilities. She has the power of empathy, which it's not what you would expect from how it plays
Oh, is
out.
this like the
either.
D&D bit?
Yeah. So we won't talk about too much
Okay,
on this,
okay.
but
Yeah.
it's a comic book that one of the town's people made for you, and someone has gone missing, and you're trying to find them using it. So
Yes.
yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in this. I am, my first experience with this, I'm very happily surprised, because Life is Strange is not a series I've been super into, like we've talked about, but this is a great first introduction, and I've really enjoyed my time with the first episode. So Kim, any parting thoughts before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I'm just excited. I'm really excited to see how they explore empathy more, and her, you know, this deals a lot with the intensity of emotions, and I think we all can relate to that in certain ways. And so to see how they're going to portray this on screen, I think, and what does it say in general about how much we give of ourselves to others, and what, you know, how they keep empathy without feeling like a gameplay tactic, you know? I think that's what I'm most interested in. But as far as the world goes and characters, like, I'm on board. This is some of the best dialogue I've seen them do, so I'm
That's
all for
awesome.
it.
Alex,
Oh, hey, look at that graffiti.
look at that.
Had to get that in there.
I was gonna say no comment. Alex, any parting thoughts?
I'm really excited for this. You know, funnily enough, I actually used to work in the same building as Deck 9 when I lived in Colorado.
Oh,
Didn't
really?
know it
Heyo.
until it was too late, but it really seems like, I mean, I'm really just excited to see this world. Like I said, huge tie. It looks like Telluride, Colorado. It looks like that mixed with Boulder, which is where I live.
That's what they said they were inspired by the way.
Oh yeah, they look identical. and like even little nods to like there's an like a Notorious Elk statue in Boulder that has like some funny stories behind it. I noticed that was in the game. Yeah, it just seems like really authentic, and I'm really excited to. I think that's going to play well into its characters. If there's that much attention to detail to just the environment, I can't wait to see, you know, how it goes into the story and the characters. I'm really excited.
Well, Mr. Van Aken, you won't have to wait that much longer. Because Life is Strange True Colors, guess what? September 10th. So soon. It's coming out. Oh, very exciting.
Wait.
Yeah, it's coming out for
Yay.
PS5, PS4, Switch, Xbox, the whole Xbox family. It says Google Stadia. So, you know, if Google's lying, it's dying. So thank you folks for watching. As always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We have a ton of great new gameplay todays out there. We are in the midst of an awesome cover story in Marvel's Midnight Suns. Life is good if you're a GI fan, and we appreciate your support. So thanks. Be good to another. We'll see you next time.